Yeah. So, anyway, yeah, so third question is, what is your favorite monster? Like, what's your favorite supernatural creature or cryptid or...
I think my favorite monster, if we're going by like the classic monsters, would probably be the Mary Shelley's.
Frankenstein. Yeah, that's a good one. Mary Shelley, Mama Goth.
But I might probably go for the one like the modern ones. I don't know, there's so many good cryptids out there.
Yeah, I think
the Dover demons from Massachusetts is.
Oh yeah.
Interesting, that creepy little thing.
Yeah, I think my favorite monster is hands down vampires. Ever since I was little, it's been vampires. Anything vampire, I'm like, right in line.
Like me with werewolves.
Yep. Yeah, I think cryptids, Mothman. I've always kind of had a fondness for it. I want to go to like the Mothman Festival, whatever it's called, up in.
Oh no, that sounds like fun. I heard the people that do it are really nice.
Yeah, it seems like a really good community. It seems like more tongue in cheek compared to like what I've heard the Bigfoot community, which it takes more serious. It's like this is serious business, and I'm just like, chill out. You are out in the woods drinking beer, looking for a squatch. There's no way.
We're gonna hunt it and kill it.
We're gonna send it to the scientists, and they're gonna. Mothman is more chill. He's just like, yo, and...
I'm just gonna destroy this.
Yeah.
Wendigo. I forgot about the Wendigo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Wendigos are like... The last few years, Wendigos have really gone up in popularity, too. I remember I first heard about them on Blood Ties, actually. There was an episode...
Oh, they did?
It was, there's a Wendigo in Canada, in Toronto.
Oh, good old Canada.
Yeah, it is a Canadian series, so.
Yeah, Until Dawn did.
So, anyway, so jumping off from that question, what's your favorite creepypasta?
I like the Russian sleep experiment.
Yeah, I think for me it'd be the Diana House, because that plays off the psychological horror thing. It's very... I haven't gotten... I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I have a copy of The House of Leaves, and it's very, like, I knew about it before, and so when I first read it, I was like, this is very House of Leaves-esque, which is this house that's kind of an eldritch abomination. It's bigger on the inside.
Oh, that's cool.
It's alive in its own way.
Oh, like, Rose Red?
Yes.
I don't know if you ever saw that miniseries.
Yes.
Oh,
that one creeped me out too. I completely forgot about that, but that one scared the crap out of me. I saw the ending when I was a kid. My mom had it on, and I went back and watched it when I was older. My mom allowed me to, watch more stuff. A lot of these classics I didn't see just because my mom didn't want me watching it. But yeah, I went back and I watched it. It was on sometime. I taped the whole thing. And, that was a beautiful set though. But
that was it. I think the one scene that I remember that movie was that guy, that everyone hated. He got his finger.
Yes, that was the scene I saw too. That was my first scene I saw, and it was. My mom even knew it was coming up. She's like, Liz, avert your eyes. She's like, look away. You don't want to see what's happening. I'm like, what was that? Oh shit.
And then, of course, my favorite character gets eaten by a carpet. But dang.
I know, they had some really dark stuff, too. But, anyways.
Oh, yeah, creepypastas.
Yeah. We went from creepypastas to Death Note.
Thanks, Inuyasha, for starting that tangent.
Yep.
The Russian sleep experiment is really good. I don't know if you ever read that one.
Yeah, I have read it once or twice. Yeah, that one... that one sticks with you. That's like one of the classics too. Right. That's like one of the older ones.
I never read it myself. I listened to a podcast that told the story. I'm like, well, this is never gonna get out of my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that it's obviously fake. Russia can hide it, but like, they want to be able to have like the.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's, I think,
like,
that's the allure of creepypastas too. It's like they're out on the web, and some of them are written in such a way that you're like, okay, starting you're like, okay, this could happen, and I think that's why it just exploded too. You know, it's just like it's such an interesting medium, almost interesting media. But yeah, Russian Experiment, if I remember correctly, that's like one of the oldest ones too, and that's like one of the classic ones. It's right up there with Candle Cove and No End House. Candle Cove was another one that scared me when I...
Yeah, that one is really creepy.
That one sticks with you, because it's like, how many, especially if you were a fan of like a really obscure show when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Like with Blood Ties, no one knows about Bringing Back My Vampire. Upset, but...
I know that show is your mother.
Yeah. The books are awesome too. Like if you ever get a chance to read the books, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I'll probably do that.
Yeah, there's 5 of them, and so I'll send you a link too if I can find them on a certain website, but they're really good. But yeah, so yeah, Candle Cove is just one of those ones that's like you start looking at other shows that are really obscure that you really into, and you're like, okay.
What's your least favorite creepypasta?
Least favorite. Ooh. There's been some that I intensely dislike. I think. Yeah, I don't really like the lost episode ones because they feel too coarse overall for me. I can't. Yeah, like they feel way too pretentious.
Yeah, like I'm already hearing one this like the SpongeBob one. I'm like, I just had that.
Yeah.
In my head. Well, number one, they don't record SpongeBob because of VHS tapes. Like, I don't know where they got that.
Yeah. Yeah, the one like Squidward Suicide was the one that I really intensely disliked. As soon as I started reading, I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate this one.
It's like, I think Lost Tapes and Jeff the Killer are...
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, Jeff the Killer has gotten he started out being mildly scary, now he's just gotten like...
Yeah.
It's kind of like Count Olaf, like, you know, it's just by the last book, you're like, okay, here comes a running gag.
You know that some girl wrote, like, a book about her and, like, Jeff the Killer being together?
I think I heard about that. Like, some people... It's like groupies for serial killers. But groupies for creepypasta serial killers.
And it's like, okay, there's, like, real man for fucking serial killer. Like, people do, like, real life. Like, yeah, it's not, like, disgusting at all. It's, like, all the big stuff out there.
Yeah, every time, like, if you... on Criminal Minds, whenever they discuss it, I'm skeeved out. I'm like... People actually do that. Why? Yeah, like, alright, you need help, though non-professional can do.
Maybe you just be a therapist.
Yeah. Going back to, where's my little menu there? Okay, so going back to the questions, what paranormal experiences have you had? I mean, this is one we've talked about.
Yeah. Why don't you go first? Mine's kind of a mess.
Okay. Yeah, I know you've had a lot. I know from the stories but yeah, I don't think I've had as much, at least certainly as many as you, but most that I've had, I feel has been centered around my family.
Yeah.
I find, like, in 2005, mine passed. And I think that was around the time that for a few nights, at least, it was like at least a couple weeks, I'd be like in a dead sleep in the middle of the night, facing, on my side facing the wall, and all of a sudden I'd wake up, and I would feel like somebody was in the room. It was like in the exact same spot in the room each time, too, and it didn't feel threatening, and it feel like scary or anything. It was just more like...
comforting.
Yeah. It was just more like, someone in the room with me? What's going on? And then after a while, I just go back to sleep. And another thing I've had was after Sophie died, I used to feel phantom cat paws on my bed. Like I would feel like cat, jumping up and walking around my bed. And Squirrel would either be right, by my side or elsewhere in the house. Like Squirrel was accounted for. This was before we got Moose, too, so it was... yeah, I felt that for a long time.
Aww.
So, and then...
You still feel her?
Kind of, yeah. And then...
Oh, that's nice.
And then one time, this was actually something my mom told me, when we lived in Sterling, I think I've told you that we lived right up the street from a cemetery. Like, literally, it was, I think, less than a mile.
Yeah.
And it was a historic burial ground. It's a really lovely spot. I've never felt unsafe there or anything. But she said one time she woke up in the middle of the night from a dead sleep, and she smelled lilacs in the room. Like, someone had sprayed lilac perfume, or there was, like, a huge bouquet of lilacs. It was right, so strong. And she said this puzzled her because we had a lilac tree across the street, but this was inside the house and it was across the street. How could you smell it that strongly? It wasn't like she had windows over or anything, that kind of. And she said she felt, as soon as she smelled the lilacs, she felt like there was someone in the corner of the room just standing there and hanging.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and she said it was really weird, and all of a sudden, like, just like in a snap, both the scent and the feeling disappeared. And she went back to sleep. Yeah, and she said she was always like, that was just one of the weirdest things that she'd had.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, and that we thought it was both kind of maybe tied to the burial ground because it was so close to our neighborhood.
Yeah, it could be, you never know.
Yeah, so it's like that's one of those things where if I ever got a chance to go back to my own neighborhood, I would love to do an investigation there.
I'll go with you.
Yeah.
So shit.
Anyways, so
you ready for a bye?
Yeah.